All right, cool. So on YouTube, Shaylee Sarr says, "Hey guys, I'll be traveling in New Zealand with a family of 6 adults along with our luggages. Can you help me suggest which rental car should we look for? We don't want to split ourselves in separate cars." So that's a very interesting question because everybody will have very, very, very different needs when it comes to traveling with 6 people, adults with all their luggage.
Yeah.
And in fact, when preparing for this question, Laura and I had a bit of a debate right here on like what should you do and how should you kind of approach that, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that we want to talk about are people movers, like the Toyota Estima. So Laura does like them for quite a bunch of reasons, but I don't like them for quite a bunch of reasons. So what about you guys?
Yeah, so if you're considering getting a people mover or renting a people mover, there's actually quite a lot of companies, rental companies in New Zealand that do those vehicles, and they usually fit about 8 people in them. They are quite compact though. So if you're traveling with 6 people, that might be pretty good. So you have spare room on some seats for luggage and stuff. They're easy to drive because they are quite compact, and they're usually the cheapest option if you are traveling with that many people and you all want to be in the same car, which I do think that traveling in the same car is a really good idea. There's loads of really good benefits to that, which we'll go through.
Just to add with that, the way Laura says cheapest is both on the rental days as well as on gas and insurance. All the cost of this car would be much cheaper than the other options that we.
But also for the model of car.
That's what I say. The cost of rental as well as the insurance as well as the gas, not just the cost of rental. So it's very much cheaper.
Yes, yeah. So all around, that's probably your most budget option. But as Robin is probably going to tell you, it might not be the most comfortable if you are more keen to spread out, but that really depends on the group and how close they are, how friendly of friends they are. So
yeah. So in my opinion, a Toyota Estima is very small. First up, it's one of those cars that has kind of a low roof, right? So you have much less space with breathing space and all of that, as well as when those cars are selling themselves as a 8 or 9 people seater. You can't really fit 9 people. It's usually 2 adults and 6 kids. That's basically what it usually means. Yeah. So you've really got to keep that in mind. And when you have those cars, they look quite big, and usually you will get 3 rows of seats, right? The first row is where you have the driver and the first passenger. Then you have two people on the next seat, and then you have 2 people on the back one. Then they add 2 more people sitting in between on the last 2 rows. But the back row have very little leg room, and fitting so many people, they are really not comfortable. And on top of that, when you fill up an 8 or 9 people seater, usually you get rid of a lot of your space in the boot, meaning that you can only have very limited luggages. So when you have 6 adults, I'm considering that there's going to be between 6 and 8 suitcases, maybe more. This absolutely, in my opinion, will not fit in any way of comfortable ways in a Toyota Estima. Also, you're going to be really crammed and you won't really be able to see around very much, and it's not going to be really a comfortable trip. You're traveling around New Zealand, in my opinion, you want to make it better. So this is why we think.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what are the better options?
Yes. So, and again, I have nothing, Toyota. I like you as a company. Estima, you are nice cars. I'm not upset at Toyota Estimas and everything. I'm just thinking, just picturing myself doing a trip. And I wouldn't like to be with 6 adults in a Toyota Estima traveling around New Zealand. I would like to have a little bit more space. It probably is also because Laura and I travel with a lot of luggage. We have so many cameras when we travel. It's just, we need space. So, other options are kind of minivans. We are talking like Toyota Hiace. You see, I like Toyota, or Ford Transit. I really like the Ford Transit because it's a much taller van. It gives you plenty of space. It's really kind of good size kind of van. But the Toyota Hiace is actually really good because you can drive it with a normal driving license. So that's a really good thing because it gives you the space of a minivan, but you can drive it with normal driving license. The good thing that I like about those kind of size van is that compared to a big RV, to a big camper van, it's much less wide, and usually with width comes difficulty of driving. A Toyota Hiace, honestly, it's about the width of a car.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit wider, but by a really thin margin. So you drive it very similarly to a car, which is really good. You just obviously will, have a harder time to reach high speeds and everything, but that's not what you're in New Zealand for. The other awesome thing which I like about traveling in the minivan is that you have space. As I just talked about, I like
is
space.
important.
Yeah. Space comes as a premium when you travel. But I think space is quite important for comfort. You have plenty of space for your luggage. You have plenty of space for everyone. You can pass food around if you want to eat around and everything. You get plenty. It's just comfortable. You have a wider seat. You can put your seatbelt nicely without being like completely just tight and crazy. So I do really like that. Another really good point is the fact that the windows are much larger, so you get to enjoy the view. If you're crammed in the back of a Toyota STMI, you got a tiny window, yay big, and that's pretty much it. So you get the driver and the front passenger, which are like, wow, it's amazing. And you can like, what am I looking at? I'm trying to look through a postage stamp. It's not that fun. So I like the fact that those kind of things, as a Ford Transit is very well known to have like big windows, and it has space, so that would be kind of your luxury option. And the Toyota Hiace would be a good compromise between both. So I think it's a really good advantage to have larger windows as well. The other good thing about the Toyota Hiace, from our experience, is that you basically need a normal car park for it, right? You don't, when you go Ford Transit or bigger, or even when you go with the big RVs, you can have a hard time either finding a parking, not really finding a parking, but finding a suitable and easy to park in parking stop.
Yeah.
I find that with the Toyota Hiace, super easy to park around. It's easy to drive, it's easy to park around. I think there is no fault to that Toyota Hiace in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the good thing as well is that they don't use too much gas. So if you were to compare that between the Toyota Hiace and two cars, you will actually save a lot of gas going with the Toyota Hiace, because it's obviously much less than two cars. And also, as you mentioned, you don't want to split into two cars just because you're traveling together. You want to share, you want to have fun together. That makes sense, you could do like two cars and then a walkie-talkie and talking together. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Just travel together.
It's not the same as going all
exactly.
together. Yeah.
So that's basically my point of why I think that that you should go for a Toyota Hiace. That would be the type of car that I would look for if I were you.
Yeah.
Juicy Ransom, and there is many other companies that rent. So it's a very, very popular type of people mover, minivan in New Zealand. So very popular one. So I will rent this one for your specific car.
And when you're searching for this specific type of vehicle on any of the sort of rental car comparison websites for New Zealand, or if you're looking on specific website for car rental companies, then the best thing to sort of search is people movers or people carriers or minivans.
Yeah, and we do have all the best car rental companies in New Zealand listed on our site. So if you actually go on their website, just seriously go on our site and look for car rentals. And then when you directed to the car rental company, then you can choose what type of car you want. All the car companies that we talk on the website, I would say out of all of them, at least 3/4 will have Toyota Hiace for rent.
Yeah.
So you'll be sweet. So just go on BackpackerGuide.NZ, and then you go travel tips, transportation, rental cars, check out a recommendation on which one are the best rental companies, and from there you'll be able to pick the vehicle you like.
And you'll put a link to those articles in the description.
Of course, link is in the description below. If you guys have any extra questions, put them in the comment of this video and we'll answer them for you. And obviously, if you find that useful, like and subscribe. You guys are awesome.